Yo, what's up, Brian?
Yo, what up, AJ? What's happening, buddy?
Not much, player.
Hey, homie. How's it going?
I love this thumbnail you got going on here. It's very nice.
I thought
Lots
so.
of
Very
stuff
colorful.
happening.
Yeah.
There's just one problem, though.
You can't find Waldo?
Yeah. Yuki's not out today, man.
Shh.
I mean, it depends on when you're listening to this. Hopefully, maybe by the time you're listening to this, it is out.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. We're going to review it and tell you if it's good or not.
The Yuki review is out today. Or us reviewing Yuki. My review is not even out today.
That's what it meant. Yeah, good cover.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, the biggest words on the entire thumbnail are inaccurate. Yuki's out tomorrow, technically.
But the review is out today.
Well, maybe not my review. My review will also be out tomorrow, but that's a whole nother story. I had technical problems at 5 a.m. and I was like, you know what? Time to go to bed. AJ, can we start the show?
Yo, let's go.
Let's do it. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. But if you don't like watching us, guess what? You can just listen to us over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any streaming services of your choice. Don't forget, that's a thing. Some people like that. I like to see AJ's face. My name is Brian Powell from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole. And this guy over here, to my right, can't do it without him, a partner in crime. He's AJ from Underground, PSVR Underground.
What's up, man? Every time you say you can listen to us on Spotify, I always want to hear you say apple pie afterwards, just because it rhymes with Spotify. What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Gatos? Happy Monday. And, Mondays usually suck. And,
I've heard
that's the case. But we are going to make your Monday suck just a little bit less.
A little bit less.
Today.
And we even got a tip from Emily Baxter. Hashtag the cartoony witch game kitten. Can't wait to do that shout out on Friday. $2 tip says, you guys make me look forward to Mondays. That's not something you can say about too many people, I don't think.
That's probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me.
And coming from Emily Baxter, too.
Yeah.
That's shocking. Thank you so much for kicking off the tip stream. Thank you, everybody, for being here. How is everybody doing? Is everyone having a great Monday? Let us know in the chat. We're going to be keeping a close eye on the chat today because we got a lot of viewer takeover questions to discuss. And as always, we like to hear your thoughts on such matters. Guys, don't forget that this channel runs on Patreon, patreon.com/withoutparolegames. If you want to let this channel keep running the way that it does, and if get AJ hired, that's the real goal here. AJ hired before PlayStation VR2 comes out, so we can double the amount of content and tackle everything the way we want to tackle it. Patreon.com/withoutparolegames. Consider just giving us $1 or more every month if you like what you see.
We'll work for games.
We'll work for games. I like it, man.
PSVR games. PSVR games only.
Yes. In PSVR2 games, eventually. Possibly even sooner.
Getting close.
Getting
closer.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. But we can't forget about all the amazing PSVR1 games that are coming out before PlayStation VR2. There's a lot of great stuff that's going to keep us entertained between now and then. And one of those games just got a release date. I want to give a shout out here, by the way, to Mike Check. Sometimes information gets past us. It just gets announced and we're just like we're just busy or doing something else or just not paying attention. And so Mike Check pointed this out to me. Windlands, SciTech Games, developers of Windlands, have tweeted that they have a release date for Windlands 2, and it's coming to PlayStation VR this month, November 26th. AJ.
I don't believe it.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's not true.
I knew you were going to say
true.
That.
We're going to get to November 26th, and they're just going to go fucking silent.
I think so.
And they're going to Ionia the shit out of this. I can't believe it, man. I've been looking forward to this game for 3 years. And, that's not uncommon, but when the game released on another platform 3 years ago, that's where it's kind of a little bit more uncommon. And yeah, I'm excited. We need some good multiplayer games, and what I like is this is something different. This has like a completely, almost like a multiplayer adventure style platformer, and it's super cool. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what we've been saying. Like, we've been getting all these like kind of smaller experiences, smaller games, single player only, and like we're such a community focused group of people. Especially for when you put on the PSVR headset, you get so used to just hearing someone else's voice or going on an adventure together or doing something together. Like even playing Beat Saber multiplayer recently, it doesn't support voice chat. Like, but we're obviously jumping into group chats to make sure that we can hang out and talk to each other while we're playing these games together. So Windlands 2 is exactly what we needed at exactly the right time. Because 4 players, you're going to be able to run around. If you played Windlands 1, like, I can see people not being terribly excited for Windlands 2 if you're like, all you played was Windlands 1, because it was more of an adventure game. It was just like you're just exploring these big environments and having fun kind of grappling around. But this combines the grappling mechanics with weapons, with 4-player online multiplayer, with enemies, with bosses. I'm like, this is just,
all of this sounds awesome.
It's a game rather than an environment to explore. It's a
game-ass game.
It's a game-ass game. Oh man, you know what? That's right. We were going to, this is such a dumb story. I remember we were going to, when we were trying to figure out the categories for the PSVR award show last year, we were gonna give Chandana Ekanayake his own category, right, where he would host it and be like, because he uses the term game-ass game in interviews and on Twitter a lot, and we're just gonna be like, this is the Chandana Ekanayake game-ass game award. and I totally forgot about that till you just said it's a game-ass game, and I would love to bring that back for the next award show. That's amazing.
He's awesome, man. He is everywhere too.
He'd be way more awesome if his newest game was for VR, and it's not.
Oh well, he's still awesome in my book.
But dude, Windlands 2, it's 3 years late, and I couldn't be happier about that ridiculous delay, because this is coming out exactly when we need it. We need something meaty to jump into. This will keep us, definitely occupied until after the fall, and after the fall should hold us out to the end of December. So these are games that we need right now during a little bit of a slower time. Very, very happy.
Yeah, we need as many games as we can get while we wait for PSVR2, more details and more information and stuff like that. So, and a multiplayer, again, great social game to have. And probably one of the biggest releases this month, I would say. You don't think
Baby Hands trumps this?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Baby Hands.
I mean, you do get to a point with games that have been delayed for so long that you're like, I don't even care anymore. But I don't feel that way about this one at all. Like, people are like, oh, it's been delayed so frequently that I don't even care. I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about this. Looking over at the PC reviews, nothing but positivity. So,
heard great things.
Hopefully when we get this, it'll be it'll be everything we want it to be, and with any luck, I'm not going to say the next thing I was going to say because it's really mean. Not to you, but to a certain port studio that has been handling so many PSVR ports
I was
recently.
thinking the same thing. I was literally thinking the exact same thing.
So just to let people know, it's VR Monkey, right? VR Monkey is the one had been handling a lot of PSVR ports recently. They did the Tarzan port, which was terrible, but then they did Wraith, which was a good port of just a not so great game. And what was and then Yuki, they did the port of it. And so like their name has just been plastered all over things, and the games that they've made haven't been good. Like I
think they're just the easiest, cheapest option.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I'll take it out of desperation, just wanting a game. But when it comes to like wanting like a quality port, that's not not ideal. But for just getting a game over to us, sure.
But they made bad games. They made like Viking game. What was the
Viking Days?
Viking Days, the minigame collection, which was terrible. But they seem to be
Apocalypse Rider.
Oh yeah, but they seem to be a competent port studio, and I think they learned a lot doing the Tarzan port, and so now the stuff that they're porting seems fine. It just makes me nervous. They seem to be. You can almost like see straight through what's happening here. It's like people are like, oh, we need to bring our game to PSVR. Who's putting in the lowest bid, right? And they just seem to be tackling everything now. So happy that we're getting these ports, but. Just nervous that it's them doing it. We got Scott Jesco, PSN Harry Pello, PSVR Game Cat 4 Life with the £2 says, I got my phone fixed, so may the tip train continue. Choo choo. Thank you so much, Future Past Scott.
Did you say VR Monkey is doing the Windlands 2 port?
No, I'm just saying that is what I'm nervous about. Is like that every port that comes our way.
They're porting Quest 2 games, and this is PC VR, so this might have been, maybe that's the reason it took so long. Maybe it'll be something really nice and high quality because it's from them themselves.
Right. Yeah, it's got a Pro patch or a PS5 patch and just like looks super sharp and crystal clear and nice lighting effects. That would be really, really nice.
Before we move on to our next topic, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Let me give a quick shout out to Matthew Skanes, who's here to help us make everyone's day suck just a little bit less with an Iron Man VR North American key. Yeah. Make sure you grab that and let us know if you got it. And thanks, Matthew. Solid game-ass game.
Game-ass game. Chandana Akaneyake's Game-ass Game Awards. Why do I think that's so funny? I don't know why. But, man, if you see Chandana Akaneyake in this year's PSVR award show and he's doing the Game-ass Game Awards, you get a little peek behind the curtain ahead of time. That would be so cool. All right. AJ, a new game that came out not today, according to the thumbnail, but it's actually coming out tomorrow. The embargo listed today is by one of our favorite studios who's made other PSVR games, 20 Questions Question. The studio has made Pixel Ripped 1989, Pixel Ripped 1995, Arvory. They now have released their newest game without the help of Ana Ribeiro, so it's a little bit different. This is Yuki, bullet hell shooter crossed with some roguelite mechanics. We previewed this before using the Quest 2 versions, and that's actually the footage I'm showing now because I had problems. That's why my review's not out. I had problems capturing new footage, but I should have all those problems taken care of by tomorrow. Dude, long time coming. It's taken a little while for the port to get here. What do you think? What do you think of the final product?
It's pretty good. Again, this is a port by VR Monkey, who's been doing everything lately. And, as always, we were provided keys by Arvory Immersive Entertainment.
And T-shirts.
And his team, and T-shirts and stickers. Yeah. But, of course, that will never, ever affect our review. However, I don't think that's going to make us feel too bad today because I've got mostly positive things to say about this game. Yeah. We'll kick things off, as always, with everything we like about it first. And that is bullet hell. It's a bullet hell shooter, and we've only had one kind, maybe one or two in the same kind of vein where you're physically dodging the bullets that are just scattering everywhere at you. The other one was Blasters of the Universe, which was a lot of fun. And
just compared to Blasters of the Universe, I feel like the bullet hell aspect of this is so over the top. I feel like the bullet hell, it's just Blasters was difficult. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the bullet hell aspect of this is so much more bullet helly than Blasters of the Universe was. This just seems like there's a flood of bullets. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna hope. I got my fingers crossed. Right? It seems way more intense.
Yeah, so the thing with this game is that you're holding Yuki, this little character, and it's like an action figure style thing, and then you've also got the assistant bot, and you have to physically move them around with your arms to dodge, and then you also have to aim and shoot. So it's kind of like a shooter, but instead of holding a gun, you're holding a little toy that shoots, and on top of the bullets, there's not just bullets that you have to physically dodge. There's huge structures throughout the levels that you have to dodge and avoid as well. And sometimes they can help you in blocking fire that's coming at you, and they can also hurt you, and they can obscure your vision a ton. So it's not just the bullets you're dodging, it's also these huge structures. Some kind of reminded me of harkening back to the Star Fox 64 days where you were out in space, and there'd be these random space frames that were they look like metal frames that were just floating around and stuff like that and twisting. So creates a cool visual effect. And like you said, the gameplay is pretty on point here. it's a lot of shooting, a lot of dodging, and there's a bunch of little other little deeper mechanics and features as well.
Yeah. So one of the things that I feel like gets glossed over pretty easily with this game is that you're not controlling, as you said, you're holding the action figure, you're holding Yuki with your hand, and just like like a kid would do playing make believe, right? And that's how this controls. So I think a lot of people might look at this game and go, oh, it controls with an analog stick or a D-pad. You're moving the character around the screen. You're holding. No, it's like you've got like this drone or a bot in your left hand, and you've got Yuki in your right hand, and they move 1-to-1. And I will say, at first, I feel like it's cheating, right? Because you're just like, well, the bullet's coming at me. I can just move her over here, like no problem. Yeah. But holy shit, man, it takes like all of 10 minutes to realize that like you need that kind of mobility to get through these levels without dying, because it's really, really, really intense. And I really like that. Because that adds. I don't think if I was designing this game, I would have been like, oh yeah, no, I want 1-to-1 motion. I absolutely would have been like, oh yeah, move around the screen with the analog stick. But this adds like something completely different to.
Makes it more unique.
This genre, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Did you play this game sitting or standing?
I don't think I could play it sitting. I played it standing, and every time I played it standing, I asked myself, could I play this while sitting down? And I honestly don't think that that's possible, because you need more than just stretching your arms out left and right or up and down. It's like so many times I crouched as low as I could go. I was on my tippy toes and like put my hands up as far as I could go without losing tracking. And I have a good setup, so I am able to do that kind of stuff. I was able to do that with Super Hot, and this feels like Super Hot, the bullet hell version, because you're moving all around your room in order to avoid this shit. You asked me the question though, so I'm going to ask it back to you. Did you play this sitting?
I did try it at first, and to be honest with you, it worked. Like, I could definitely do it, but I did feel like the game was missing something about like being like immersive. I think it really takes away the immersion sitting down, but it's still definitely very playable. But yeah, when I switched to standing, I finally felt like I understood the game a little bit more, and it just helped add a little bit more immersion to the gameplay. And it's kind of fun. It's a little bit more fun that way, for sure. And I think you have an advantage because you're not limited in the space. I mean, you're limited to the camera, not limited to how far your arms can stretch.
Right. Oh, 100% agree.
It gives you a lot more space to kind of like sidestep and move around and get different angles and all that.
We've got a lot of tips, and so before we move on to the other things that we like about this game, because there's a lot of things that I do want to point out that I loved about this. Creeper Betty with the $5 tip says, I love the beard, Brian. Meow. Hiya, AJ. Happy Monday, Game Cats.
Hi, Betty.
See, if you want to compliment on your beard, you need to shave it first and then grow it back, and then Betty will compliment you on the beard. Looper, the Game Cat with the €5 says, I wish we had some non-racing games with steering wheel on PSVR, something like Truck Sim or Farming Sim. That's interesting. Like that Sega 18-wheeler game or Crazy Taxi, maybe even like things that are just something different than the standard racing game.
God, I would love Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi. We also got Dave Station VR in the chat with the $5 tip. Says tip train toot toot. Thanks, Dave.
Dave in the house. Dude. What up, Dave?
Wolverazo with the $2 tip says, broke joke, doing what I can. Keep up the great work. Wolverazo, you keep up the great work, man, and never feel the need to tip us. We love you regardless. Sergeant Frosty with the $2 tip says, fingers crossed on full PSVR2 physical release of Turbo Doom. This is one of your
Turbo
creations?
Doom. Yeah, that's my dreams creation I made in 5 minutes in the Discord. And it has...
That's right.
Yeah, you can actually go... It's on my Saturday stream. And just find the timestamp for Turbo Doom that's in all caps. That's on purpose. And behold the greatness.
Turbo Doom. We also got another tip from Dave Station VR. $2 tip says, Brian's beard game is stronger now. Guys, it's Movember. I'm not allowed to shave, and I'll tell you, it's getting kind of irritating. If you guys don't know that we are participating in Movember charity led by Serial Killer, the Game Cat. Sorry about the sirens on my end. Is obviously an awareness for prostate cancer, etc., all sorts of men's health issues. I always say prostate cancer because that's the one that hits close to home for me. Very there's an issue in my family. Because survivors and shit, it's important. And so hopefully one of the one of the mods can post a link to that charity that's led by Serial Killer with the name under the name of the Game Cats. We can donate as a group.
That's right.
So
I have this beard for charity.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do once the month is over, man. It's like I tried to just do the mustache, and I looked like a 70s porn star, and I wasn't happy about that. Cerebral Frost with the $4 tip says, I'm getting coffee. Want one? Yes. I'll take 2. Thank you very much. I'll give you your $4 back. Thank you. All right, man, back to this. We got to talk about some of the other great things about Yuki, and I got to tell you, man, the fact that they basically crossed this bullet hell genre, which would have been fine on its own, but only like average, I think, average at best. The roguelite elements that they included in this, for me, were the reasons I wanted to keep playing over and over and over and over again. Every single time I died, I was like, okay, you collect currency along the way, and when you get back, after you die, you get back and you have to start the game all over again, of course. But before that, there's a workshop, and in the workshop, it gives you a bunch of different power-ups to choose from that you can purchase. Now, some of these are just permanent stat upgrades, like adding an extra bar to your HP, right? Something along those lines. But a lot of them are basically unlocking power-ups that you find out in the field that will be temporary for that run. And there's so many cool temporary upgrades from drones that join you and just fire automatically while you're playing. More extra lives, or not extra lives, but extra life. I mean, there's just extra health. The more you play, man, the more you unlock, and it's crazy. There's like 26 different temporary upgrades that you can find out in the field. And I'll tell you, man, when I played games like Until You Fall, I gotta stop doing that. When I played games like Until You Fall, there were so many different upgrades that I was like, no, fuck this. This takes away this life, this element, and like gives me this, or it doesn't seem like all that beneficial. There were a bunch of upgrades that I didn't care about. But it seems like every single upgrade in Yuki I do care about. I'm like, oh, that would be great. Oh, that would also be great. This would be great too. And so it kind of makes me go, oh, I hope I can buy this the next time I come back to the workshop. And then you head out and you're stronger than you were before. And that whole roguelite element just is so appealing to me. I know roguelite doesn't work with every genre, or not everybody's a fan of roguelites, but like I think it really, really works here.
Yeah, for me, I'm not the biggest roguelite guy. I like them, but I don't love them. I know that's like something that is like near and dear to you all the way back to like, whenever. I remember Spelunky was always something you mentioned a lot, and
top 5 favorite games of all time.
But you're exactly right. The roguelike elements that it has objectively adds more value to this game, deepens the replay value of this game, and that's something I really like about it. You can clear the game, but then there's something at the end that you can unlock by clearing it with, and it adds like a progression system. That's what I like about it. It helps give it a little bit more like depth, a little bit of a progression system to it. And I love unlocks. I love earning. I grew up on games where you had to earn your unlocks and everything. And a lot of games still do that, but a lot of games don't as well these days. There's like microtransactions and stuff. So It's just a classic fresh style design that is nice. What'd you think of the music? Because to me personally, the soundtrack is something that I think I don't hear a lot of people talking about, but I think the soundtrack is amazing in this game. Maybe not like the first level kind of bothers me, to be honest with you, but the rest of the game's soundtrack, I feel like is like, it reminds me of like Mega Man or like that 8-bit era where it's just like epic music, and I love epic music in video games. It helps me get into it more.
Yeah, it's funny. We talked about this a little bit during the when we played this over on Quest for the preview episode, and you were kind of raving about the music, and I was sort of not too impressed by it. And I've come around mostly because I totally agree. The first level is like too bouncy and too they're going for this anime theme, right? But like it doesn't. The game itself doesn't scream anime, and so when they sort of infused that anime sort of bouncy soundtrack into the first level, it seems out of place. If the art style was a little bit more flat shaded, cell shaded.
The art style sounds like you should be going through like a bright sunny day, like green like plains.
Yeah.
You know how every game always starts you off at like a green sunny
Absolutely.
area. Yeah, like Green Hill Zone or something, or like Mario games that always it's like green grass and stuff.
Yeah,
It just didn't fit. It's got like, the first level is actually pretty cool looking. It's got these Japanese lanterns that like come down and it's got this like Japan kind of town feel to it. So something a little bit more that matched would have been better. But that's a small thing because the rest of the game, the music I think is actually really epic. And I love cranking up the headphones on this one.
Yeah, I agree. The first level seems out of place, but also, this is going to be something I go back to when we get to our negative list. But it does seem like there was some sort of inspiration from earlier shoot 'em ups for this game, because I can certainly think of a bunch of games that do start off in classic 8-bit 16-bit shoot 'em ups that kind of have like this sort of way too happy music for the first level. Like that was, I think, relatively common for games that weren't Life Force and Gradius, or R-Type even. But yeah, it does get to a point very soon after, like even as soon as you get to the second level and then the first boss, where it really starts fitting the mood and really starts hitting home in making the tension even more tense. I think they did a great job. It sounds fully orchestrated, even though I'm sure it's not. It just sounds it, and it's great. I saw the triangulator say endless mode is great too. I want to just say, as of right now, the endless mode is coming soon on PlayStation VR. I know it just launched on the other platforms, so I'd like to find out when the endless mode is coming to PlayStation VR, but I don't have that information currently. So. I don't want to jump ship too quickly. Like, are there other positives you want to talk about?
I mentioned the art style. I think the character designs are really cool. Like I said, it reminds me of Mega Man, where like all these enemies would be throughout a level, and they're kind of like, they were kind of like worker robots that were used for evil and then like turned into something different. And this kind of reminds me of that, where this is like there's like all these random style robots, and I just I really like that. I like that it takes a risk, that it just stays true to itself and what they like, and I can appreciate that. It makes it very unique, and it makes it pretty unforgettable in terms of just like what I would remember and stick to. And we talked about the art style being great. The standing up, I felt like I had a great time. The music is great. There's like boss fights. There's huge bosses, there's a lot to like here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the progression, the replay value of the progression system.
Right. Replay value, progression system, the roguelite elements, unlocking different characters to play as you go through. Really game changing. Being able to do that is all fantastic. But that all of those things, I feel like everything we've talked about has a negative side to it. And so as much as I do like this game, and I want to be very clear that like my review when it comes out will be overall positive. I'm like in the high 7s. Like I've flirted with the idea of giving it an 8. I don't think I'm there. But the problem is that, and I think you experienced this even worse than I did, is that it's just too fucking easy for way too fucking long. Like you get through, there's 6 stages, and it's way too easy to see the first 4 the very, very, very first time you play. And it's like, and so now every single time since it's a roguelite, you have to replay the entire game every single time you die. And so now you're stuck playing like this 25-minute segment until you get to the difficult part, right? For games like Until You Fall, you die in like 30 seconds, and then the next time you play, you die in 45 seconds, and the next time you play, you die in 60 seconds. And every single step forward you take feels like this huge progression. And you're like, oh, that little upgrade I just got helped me out just a little bit more. Right. And I was able to take an extra step. And with Yuki, it's
all over the place. It's you can completely get destroyed by the second level, or on your second run, you can make it all the way to the boss, like I did this time around. Granted, I had played it before. I had played it on Quest, so it wasn't my first time playing. But my second run, I almost beat the entire game.
Right.
And
I feel like that shouldn't be a possibility with roguelites. Like, it should beat you down and make you get better at the game and make you upgrade your character in order to progress further.
right. And the weird thing is too, like it's like randomized, I think, or it's like procedurally generated. It seems a little bit more randomized. So like your second time you play it, you're more upgraded, and they start throwing more stuff at you. And it seems like the way that it develops as you play is kind of like sporadic. It's kind of all over the place a little bit.
Yeah.
Versus like you said, like you gradually get further and further. It's like you never know. You could end up beating this on your second try, or vice versa. You could beat it on your first try and then like play it again and then it be really difficult. So it's kind of structured a little bit random in that way, like the backbone of it.
Yeah, and that's something I honestly don't like. I didn't actually experience anything even close to, dying on the first or second level or third level. Like, that's just something that I've played through this countless times now, over and over and over and over again. And like, yeah, they do make the first and second and third level harder every time you play, or they vary it up. But you're also getting more powerful as you play, and so it didn't. Those things didn't seem to affect how easy everything was. So I saw like through 2/3 of the game the first time I played. I saw 3/4 of it the second time I played. I'm talking about the Quest time, like the very, very first time. And then I jumped over to PSVR and I played it for 5 or 6 hours. And it was like, man, you got it. It's just too easy for the first 3/4 of the game every single time you play through it. And so that to me was really frustrating. And even more frustrating is that are the things they didn't take from traditional shoot 'em ups. I don't like that there's randomization in the enemies. I don't, because one of the things that's great about shoot 'em ups is memorization. Like,
right.
And one of the things I like about roguelites is memorization, right? And that's part of like getting better. In this, you don't memorize where the enemies show up; they just sporadically appear. And that to
right.
me,
and it's hard to tell
memories.
you. It's hard to say if you're going to have the same experience that I did because of that. Right. One person could have a great experience and the other maybe not.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess, yeah, that's totally possible. That's totally possible. So the randomization just makes it feel a little bit cheap and not like unfair cheap. I like in a design sense cheap. And so I don't like that. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and like the enemies themselves, I just felt like they appear and you shoot them and they kind of go woom 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 when you hit them, and then they boom blink out of existence. And I'm like, man, it's like it just seems there's no real animation in the enemies. And so again, and now this just seems like a budgetary thing where everything just kind of feels cheap sometimes. They kind of killed it with the art design. They kind of killed it with the soundtrack, and the controls feel good. The upgrades feel good. And then the enemies just go.
Yeah. You look at the trailer and it's got this like awesome anime art style. And I'm not even the big anime guy, but I think it looks awesome. And like all the enemies are like laughing and like, they're smiling or their mouths are moving and all sorts of things. And yeah, these kind of they kind of pop up and they don't really like move a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave Station says there's so much optimization required for a good roguelite, and I feel they may have gotten in over their head here. I think they were just scared to make it too difficult. Like, I don't think they wanted that to be the tagline for their game. Great, but way too difficult, Like, that's just not the kind of game they want to make.
Which was a huge turnoff for me for, I think, Blast of the Universe when I first played it. Mm-hmm. Like, it was kind of brutal. Maybe I was playing it on a really hard difficulty, but it was kind of brutal. And sometimes... you got to strike that balance. That's why there's usually different difficulty options. But yeah, I don't know. It does feel like it's kind of like an easy and normal mode mixed in one. And you kind of like roll the dice which one you're going to get as you progress.
Absolutely. All right, listen, let's take care of a few tips here. We got Ash VR, the groovy game cat, right with the $2 tip, says, nothing, I don't think. Thank you so much. We got Nihilus Ryan, the game feeling with a $5 tip, says, just started Blair Witch and OMFG. The effing tree monster made me pee my pants. Scariest experience in a long time.
Me too, man. Even on a live stream.
Blair Witch is definitely going to go down as a super underrated PSVR game.
Yeah.
Jeremy, look
Good.
Jeremy, look at the Game Cat Butthole with the $5 tip, says, how does VR benefit Yuki? I think the most important way it benefits is having that direct one-to-one control over Yuki herself and the bot. And so, again, if you were controlling it with an analog stick, it would be a completely different experience. But being able to just go boom, 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 in, out, all over the place within seconds instead of having to hit an analog stick and try to be super precise, that's what makes it. That's what makes
the
it.
Physicality of it is, it's not a physical game, but the physicality of the game, like actually physically moving to, instead of using a joystick, like you said, is what makes it kind of in VR. That being said, that could be one of my negatives, is that like I don't find this game very immersive.
I agree with that. Yeah.
It's not really, you don't really play this game because it's immersive. You play it because it's a bullet hell shooter.
There's missed opportunities with that too. You're going the same speed the entire time. You're just very casually going through these. And every shooter I can think of, or every shoot 'em up I can think of, goes. Sorry, one more. We got Mike Check with a $5 tip. I just wanted to get that.
Thank you, Mike Check.
Thank you so much. What was I saying now? There's no speed difference. Yeah, so there easily could have been a level where you're just flying through it really fast
through something and
dodging obstacles where there didn't even have to be enemies for a certain part, where you just do like the second level of or the third level, the jet ski level of Battletoads kind of thing, right? Where you're just like boom, 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 just like moving Yuki out of the way and doing that kind of shit.
They don't mix anything up. I mean, what you play in the beginning is essentially the same as what you're playing by the end of the game, and I think that is one of the other little negatives about it. Is I wasn't like excited about it. Like I wasn't surprised at anything. I wasn't like excited about anything. Like it was solid, but there was nothing that was like really like, wow, like I didn't see that coming. It's just what it is what it is, and it kind of stays within that threshold.
Yeah, I agree. And there's only 6 levels, but there's not 6 bosses. I think there were 3 bosses. I have to double think that in my head, but every other level doesn't have a boss. So for being a super short game, it does feel a little underwhelming content wise. I know it's a $20 game. I don't know what people expect for $20 at this point, but for this, I just felt like we were almost there. Almost had something great to write home about, and instead we had something that's really good to write home about. Something that was really fun.
To top it off, Braxbro says make it some Polybius levels of speed. I would have loved some moments in this where you're zipping through and it's like all trippy or something, and there's a lot of obstacles and you have to move around like crazy, and it would have just added a little bit of like excitement to it. So, but to wrap this up for now, I think this is a very solid game. But I also don't think it's anything super special, super exciting. It's pretty simplistic, and I don't find myself like, there's so many games where it's like I either can't stop playing them, or like when I stop playing it, it's like all I can think about is when I get to play it next. And I don't feel like, and I didn't really get that feeling with this game a lot. Like I enjoyed it. It's very enjoyable, but I don't find myself being like, oh, I can't wait to play that again, or I can't wait to unlock the rest of that stuff. I kind of just got through it and was like, it was solid, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you. Unlocking those power-ups was a little bit more addictive for me. Unfortunately, I had to delete my because of a patch that came out before the game. I had to delete all my progress, and I basically got to start the game over tonight and capture all new footage. So we will see just how interested in that I am starting over from scratch. Like I said, guys, like 7.7, 7.8, that's pretty much what you can expect for this when the review comes out tomorrow. Emily Baxter, hashtag the cartoon witch game kitten, with a $2 tip, says, Rhonda says that mustache must be thicker for 70s porn. Hey man, it's only been 15 days. Like I stopped shaving on the 1st. So give it, it'll be twice as thick by the end of the month.
I could do it. I could do it. I'd have to trim the rest off, but
You could
the
certainly
girlfriend
do
said
it.
no. So
Oh, well, then I don't know what to tell you.
she's
All right.
lost.
All right, guys, we got a couple viewer takeover questions to tackle here before we get to 20 questions. And the first one comes to us from Ripper1892 over on Discord. It says, Friday's Gamescast got me thinking, as little as we've been hearing about PSVR2 and as badly as they advertise VR, do you have any thoughts or slight doubt that they will abandon PSVR2? Everything you and AJ said sounds like Sony is going to drop the ball on PSVR2. Look at Quest advertising compared to PSVR. Just wondered if the thought ever crossed your mind.
No way. Not a chance in hell. In fact, when everybody was telling us, you guys are liars, Sony's not going to make PSVR 2, Sony's abandoned it, we said, no, they're not. They've said that they will unveil those plans at a later date, and they did. And then, and then, I don't know. Those obviously, you'll hear it when it's all negative and stuff, but then those people don't come back to say, hey, you were right.
Right. I know so many people told us we were either full of shit or too optimistic. I had no idea what we were talking about. And very, very, it feels good to be right. But at the same time, it's like, we're closer now to release than we've ever been. It's like Sony has announced it. We know full well that there's, plans coming up very, very soon to show some shit off. And so now we just have to be patient. Did the thought ever cross my mind prior to all of this, saying, "Hey, we know that everything's in the works, but Sony could just change their mind at any point. Like games have been canceled before, consoles have been canceled before. Maybe not from Sony, but plenty of consoles have been canceled before they even came out. So yeah, I mean, there was always like a little tinge of doubt in the back of my mind, going, "Hey, anything's possible." Right, VR just isn't a big enough market. Sony could return to this in 5 or 10 years when the market's huge, and say, okay, now we're ready to re-enter the market. Yeah, did that cross my mind ever? Of course, but there was just always so much overwhelming evidence to the contrary that everyone just seemed to want to ignore, and that we couldn't. So that's your answer. Is that no? Not really.
That's definitely not. And PSVR 2 is going to be something really special. It's going to be really huge. The problem, I think the one, we always try to be critical as well as, we praise things that they do right. And we're also, we try to be critical as well because we don't work for Sony. We have no affiliation with them or anything. And we're just hardcore gamers that also love VR, and we've been gaming our entire lives. And this is kind of where we see our interest is going to be in the future, and there is too much of an opportunity that involves money for them to drop it in the future. And I really think when people start hitting that wall of getting tired of third person adventures and whatnot, and want something different, tired of the same repetitive gameplay, this will be the answer for them, like it was for many of us who were getting kind of tired of gaming because we've just played so much and we've seen so much that what is there to offer. So definitely not. There's a business opportunity there. There's innovation. There's so many reasons why it's going to happen, and it's going to be awesome. The one criticism I will say, and it's is that they haven't held on to the 5 million core audience people that they already built. That's the biggest drawback from our conversation about the state of PlayStation and VR is that they didn't retain the 5 million people that they got in the door at first. And so when PSVR 2 comes out, it does feel like they're going to have to kind of start from scratch again. The good news is that there's probably going to be a lot more people this time, but it still would have been nice to retain a lot of that original audience. Yeah,
I don't think that they've really done too much wrong in the last 5 years, to be honest with you. They were throwing money left and right all over the place. There's so many games that came to PSVR, unbeknownst to anybody out there, would not have come to PSVR if it wasn't for Sony basically paying devs to be like, hey, please deliver a PlayStation VR port of your game. And they're like, okay, thanks for giving us the money to do that. And so basically they were, instead of trying to get new PSVR gamers in the door with advertisements or anything like that. They were trying to keep the people who were still here happy and make sure that we always had something to play. The Hitman trilogy, man, is just like absolutely insane that even happened, and it's beautiful. And we got all 3 games. It's craziness.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they didn't get a lot of credit for the amazing shit we got this year. Arashi, Fracked, exclusives, Hitman 3 exclusives, and it's a lot of the little things. It's just the problem is like some of those stuff like Hitman 3. You know, there's a division between what people want in their VR gaming experiences, and a lot of that is like they would have wanted the Move controllers. If they would have given Hitman 3 Move controllers, I think everybody would have been absolutely blown away by it, and everybody would have been on board. But I think they want something more than a DualShock game. And I think when they think about VR, especially some of the conversations I've had recently, when they think about what makes a great VR game, it is having the 2 arms, hands represented in the game and being able to interact and not only be in the world, but able to interact and touch it and feel it as well. And that's going to be something that's just going to come right out of the box with PSVR2.
Yeah. It's like Sony made when it comes to people look at Quest 2 and be like, oh, this is so much better than PSVR, but not from any technical standpoints, right? Like not from any kind of hardware. When it comes to like the hardware limitations, like there's a limitation on hard drive space. Processing power is like 2 generations old, and there's just not like a whole lot you can do with it as far as like these bigger games that we're looking for. And so as much as we like our Quests. I started a little bit when I said that because it's like I couldn't even convince myself to buy RE4.
It's all right.
As much as we like our Quests, the fact is I think there's 2 things I think that people look at the Quest and say this is what makes it better, and one is the wire and one is analog sticks on the controller, right? Because and then people who have no idea what they're talking about would be like eye tracking sucks. It's like you're going to get all the negativity from people who've never played it before.
Yeah, I like it, but I do think there's a lot of smoke being blown because every time. I fall for the hype with the Quest sometimes, and then I go do it myself, and I'm like, yeah, it's great, it's cool, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not exactly this magical thing I was expecting.
Right. So the magical thing we're expecting is PSVR 2. It's like for the first time in a very, very, very long time, the first time in 5 years, we're going to be taking this huge step forward. From a graphic standpoint, immersion standpoint, the ability to just bring, basically PS5 quality games into VR seamlessly and easily, make it easy on developers. These are all things that we need to take VR into the next generation. And so when people are like, oh, Sony fucking dropped the ball by not bringing it out already and blah, 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 this or that, whatever. It's like, I think they're well aware that no one else is doing what they're doing and that they are going to be the ones leading the charge, whether it comes out tomorrow or next year. It's just that's just the way it is. There's nothing else on the horizon that even competes. And especially with Sony, their IPs and their commitment to this platform has been amazing. Sometimes it doesn't look like that, but behind the scenes, it really is. A lot of people don't even know that Sony had like a $5 million COVID relief fund that they sent out to developers. Lots of indie developers wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for Sony's help. Just being like, here's 30,000 here, here's 50,000 here, given to small developers. Sony's got their back, man. It's crazy. Next gen is going to be amazing. All right, next question comes to us from Billy Pa on PSVR this week. He says, there's a lot of talk about PSVR1 remasters coming to PSVR2 and a lot of people wondering about backwards compatibility. But what PSVR1 games do you think need sequels on PSVR2 and what enhancements could the new headset bring to the game?
I love this question.
Well, then why don't you start?
Me go first?
Man? Yeah, I want to hear. Absolutely.
I'm going to start with what everybody probably thinks of first, and that is Astrobot 2. I've played the Astro's Playroom on PS5, and, at the end of the day, what made Astrobot special, the most special and the most memorable, I think, is VR, and seeing that converted to VR. And there's just something that is, I don't know what it is, but in VR, Astrobot is really where it shines the most. I would love to see something that showcases the tech. And Astrobot has it can definitely adapt to different themes and stuff, kind of like the Mario, a Team Asobi, Japan studio. They make some of the most polished and awesome, fun, just straight up fun games. The style of them is also really awesome. And I feel like there's just so many directions they can go. You've mentioned stuff like maybe, obviously you'd want an Astrobot game that lets you interact with it somehow. That's going to be the hurdle of figuring out. I mean, would it use the DualSense? I'd be happy with just another platformer that used like the DualSense, but ideally you'd want something to showcase the tech, and I could see anything from like there's all sorts of things. Anything from a game with an Astrobot game with that it has a bunch of mini games that showcases the orbs, I think would be the ideal thing here.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I think with an Astrobot 2, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's totally fine. You're all entitled to your opinion, even if you're wrong. But Astrobot 2, I know Astrobot 2 needs to be a little bit more Mario Odyssey and a little bit less Crash Bandicoot. I do feel like the camera going straight from the back of the level to the front of the level is just. It was fine and it was fun, but I do feel like and I think they did that for motion sickness more than anything else. They were like, well, we're going to make sure this moves at a steady pace. We're going to have control over the camera. But I think if they're able to reduce motion sickness with the haptics in the headset and everything like that, then letting your character just run around like this, more. I keep thinking like the first area of Marvel's, but more Mario Odyssey where you just have a lot more freedom to run around. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm going to totally cheat with my first pick because my first pick is Batman, right? And
ooh,
right. And
how's that cheating? That's awesome. No, that's a great idea.
Because Arkham VR was amazing, right? But it was node-to-node teleportation. There wasn't any action. You didn't get to drive the Batmobile. You didn't get to you got half of what makes Batman great. You get the detective, the world's greatest detective side of Batman. You didn't get like the crime fighting or exciting racing part of not that he's a racer, but that he definitely drives through the city really fast in the Batmobile. So the reason I'm cheating is because I kind of just want them to bring Arkham Knight into VR first person because the great thing about Batman is he's not Spider-Man. He's not doing these flips in midair. He's not doing all sorts of crazy maneuvers where that couldn't be done in VR, right? I do feel like there's a certain level of the combat would be a little bit difficult, but who knows, man? Maybe they could tweak that. I think the feeling of grappling up to the top of a roof,
yes,
being able to see the city and just like getting that feeling in the pit of your stomach, and as you look out and go, God, I'm really high up here right now, and then you jump down and land straight into the Batmobile. The hood latches over you, and you grab the steering wheel and just take off immediately, all in first person. Like have this be one big seamless action. I mean, they did that in Arkham Knight. And so I just need that in first person and just make it VR, man. Like I feel like they're 95% of the way there. Just give me the rest.
That is an excellent pick, and I think most of the ones that I had on my list, we'll just go through a couple, but basically that was I kind of went with the same strategy of what were these games that came out that we were so excited for, and then were kind of missing features or ended up being more along the lines of experiences and kind of weren't what we expected. And I think so for my second pick, that's going to have to be Everybody's Golf 2. And you know exactly where I'm going with this. Mm-hmm. And that is this game, the core gameplay and design and look of it and everything was absolutely fantastic. It's fun, it's beautiful, but it was missing two core things, and that was a single player tournament that you could like go against AI and compete against.
No AI,
and then
crazy.
multiplayer. Multiplayer would go such a long way with this game. If they would have had a single player tournament and multiplayer in Everybody's Golf, I think we would still be maybe playing it to this day, like constantly. A lot more people would be playing it. And I like how Brax Bro says delete the caddies, because I actually made a note that said and ditch the caddies. Yeah, because the caddies were terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to disagree with there. I will say the one addition I want, and this has nothing to do with PSVR2. It's just what I want. They certainly could have done this with PSVR1. For some reason, one of my favorite things to do on Quest is play Walkabout Mini Golf, and I think that Clap Hands, who makes Everybody's Golf, could easily take the Everybody's Golf VR model and make an amazing mini golf course in there. And so even if it was even additional DLC or paid DLC or for even a separate game, I want them to take a stab at making a mini golf game. That's nothing to do, I guess, really with Everybody's Golf.
I would love, I mean, that's the thing is PS4, this first gen of VR, we had to put up with a lot of what felt like a little bit incomplete experiences. I mean, it's understandable because they're still figuring a lot of things out. They're still experimenting with a lot of things. And I think generally especially the games released over the course of this year have shown us that they're starting to understand what we want. As more people have understood what VR is and they've been able to judge by that. And totally agree.
Hey, before we do any more, we've got a bunch of tips to get caught up on here. One is from Dave Station VR, but all the way back when we were talking about Yuki, he goes, just play Res Infinite. It's like, okay. I mean, Res Infinite is a fantastic choice. Not quite the same
Infinite
idea,
but
pretty close.
Also could use a sequel, and also probably is getting a sequel, by the way.
I like that idea. Matthew Scanes with the Canadian $14 says, impromptu viewer takeover question. If you had to pick one underrated game, one that flies under the radar that people should play, what would it be? Keep up the enthusiastic hard work.
Song in the Smoke. More people need to play Song in the Smoke. More people need to spread the word about Song in the Smoke.
Yeah, I would say that's a great choice. I was just talking to Dan from Electric Hat Games before the show.
To the Top.
Yeah, there's a lot of new PSVR gamers that don't know how great To the Top was. That it was our obsession for like months, and that everyone was playing multiplayer and trying to figure out how to get through those levels. And like it really is a fantastic game. And I think you go back, if you're a new PSVR owner and you look back at screenshots, you go, it doesn't sell itself until you're in the headset and you're flying around and jumping off of walls and doing all these crazy tricks and shit. It's a great locomotion system. So I'd say To the Top. Waleed Saeed Faridi with the Canadian $2 says, super chat not working. See my message in chat. God damn it. Oh, I didn't see your message in the chat. AJ, if you have a second hold on a second. Let me scroll real quick here just to see.
Super chat not working. No sending here.
I'm looking before. I don't see his message.
I see him
beforehand.
saying that it's. I don't see his. You go ahead. Continue. What's your next game? I'll look for it.
Well, we also got Alberto Mapam El Game Gato with the Mexican 100 pesos. Just Mexican, I think peso. I don't know if that's right or not. He says, with PlayStation having a history of changing their controller design from prototype to final design, do you think we'll see a different final version of the orbs? Saludos. # hire AJ's beard.
Saludos.
I think we're gonna see. What do they call it? The strap that allows you to open your hand and the controller stays there. Not a wrist strap. It would be like more of a palm strap, right? Yep. Whatever they call it. I think it has a name. But I think we'll see some kind of integration on that because they're going to want you to be able to just use your fingers freely without having to worry about dropping the controller. Besides that, I think it's a great design. And if they do anything other than that, I'll be kind of surprised, honestly, but also probably pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I think there could maybe be a color change, but yeah, I don't know. It says it's subject to change, so it could happen.
We got Scott Jesco, PSN Harry Fella, PSVR Game Cat 4 Life with the 2 quits says, but I'm Batman. Don't tell anyone. Oops.
I'm
too
Batman.
Late. And then we get another tip from Waleed Saeed Faridi with the Canadian $5 tip says, Saints and Sinners, Blood and Truth, Astro, Crisis Brigade, Doom with Orbs, Racket Fury. This sounds like a list of all the games he wants sequels of on PlayStation VR 2. Saints and Sinners, FTW, big time. Also, Resident Evil 8 counts, but that's not really fair because
there's a lot of games, and whose turn is it to go?
A Mexican peso is correct. Why don't you go next?
Well, okay.
So this will probably be our last one.
Okay, well, I'm going to honor what the chat is going to be saying. I'll say two real quick then, because the chat's been saying both these, so I have to do this.
All right.
The first one is Gran Turismo, which I actually think will have. I'm expecting this to be a launch title or launch window title for PSVR2. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Kazunori Mauchi has said a million times, or has gone on record in public interviews before PSVR2 was even announced, that the biggest leap that the PS5 is going to have an effect on gaming, or at least for his game. I don't know if he was talking about gaming in general or Gran Turismo, was VR. So I would love to see a full Gran Turismo 7 in particular. Fingers crossed that is what we will see. Yes, Mark Doust, I got you guys. I have it written down. That's not, I didn't, I mean, I agree with you guys. The other game is something you guys also said, and that is Ace Combat 8. Because despite the game being limited to 3 levels that you could replay over and over and unlock stuff, that still remains one of my most favorite VR experiences ever. And it was such a fun game. I would love a full single player campaign where it combines all this sorts of stuff, where you go around just Ace Combat style, and you take out air targets, you take out ground targets, and they could be of many different variety. It doesn't have to just be like air to air combat or air to like facility combat. There could be all sorts of stuff. And I think Ace Combat 8 with a single player campaign would be my number one hope. I'd take multiplayer, but I don't think multiplayer is as important to me as a single player campaign, like full single player campaign.
Yeah, I think Emily Baxter just won the chat with the $2 tip. Says Russia Blood remaster bundled with a sequel. Yeah, I think that's it right there, man. You can't get any better than that. That is what I loved your
idea. I mean, that was such an important launch game, and I loved your idea of like put us in a carnival and have a bunch of horror mini games all over the place that you can go, sort of like Ghost Train did in Dreams, and
but actually scary would be amazing, right? Like you're terrified to walk into each attraction and shit. Yeah. It's just a haunted carnival. It's been used over and over, but I mean, like, it hasn't been used in VR yet.
Yeah. So these were just a few. There's obviously a bunch of games we know are getting sequels that already have sequels, but I feel like when I think about PlayStation and like popular staples in the brand, I think of Astrobot, I think of Everybody's Golf, I think of Gran Turismo, and Ace Combat, and it's just something we've seen throughout the generations. And I would love just a fully fleshed out version sequel for these on the next gen.
Yeah. I mean, we could go on and on and on. There are so many games.
Farpoint, Immortal Legacy, like could go on
catch
forever.
And release, man. Catch and release with an actual like a motorboat, right? Instead of a rowboat. Oh man, there's so many great things. We could spend hours doing this, and maybe if we have a slow news week, we'll end up doing that someday. But thank you guys for being part of this conversation, and that brings us to 20 questions, PSVR 20 questions, which we totally stole from GameScoop. Don't tell Damon, because we love him and don't want to hurt his feelings. Just want to make sure that everybody knows how to play. AJ picked a PSVR game. It's in his head. He will not tell us what it is until the 6 minutes is up. We have 20 yes or no questions to ask him. That means you guys in the chat better help me out with these yes or no questions. To find out.
You penetrate my beanie.
I'll penetrate your beanie.
That sounds sexual.
No, that was sexual. Real quick, Mark Pringlesley for the $5 says, with GT7 coming to the PS4 as well, will the game be in full VR or just partly? I mean, dude, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't have a lot of hope for the PS4 version having any VR. It may, but I can't imagine it'll be more than what Sport had.
Yeah, it'd probably be a limit, like very limited, like that, like Sport was, if it has it at all. I think it's just going to be a PS5 VR though.
All right, people are already asking questions for 20 questions, so let's get this going. Let's put the 6-minute timer up from Timertopia. I love this timer so much. Do you drive vehicles in it? Thank you, Ian.
You do not drive vehicles in this game.
Okay, no vehicles. Has this developer made other PSVR games?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Actually.
other PSVR games. That limits it. Let's see. Is it first person?
It is first person. Had to think about that one.
Okay. Wally Sarid Faridi with the Canadian $2 says, for me, PSVR1 was a bit blurry. Hope NGVR is better. Oh, don't you worry about a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Mad Max, the Metaverse Game Cat with the $10 tip says, I'm late. Damn you, daylight savings time. I think about this GTA trilogy. I think they charge full price because they're going to make a hybrid game. I also think Hitman Trilogy PS5 is also NGVR ready. I love the theories, man. I love it. I think Grand Theft Auto for sure is going to get some, I think PSVR1 support. But that's a different story.
We'll see. They need to fix it first because they cyberpunk 2077 the hell out of it. The stuff I'm seeing and hearing is awful. I don't want that shit.
Would you consider this a puzzle game?
There's a lot of, I wouldn't consider it a puzzle game, but there are a lot of puzzles in this game.
Okay. All right. So you don't drive vehicles. It is in first person. There was a lot of puzzles in this, even if it's not a puzzle game. They have made other PSVR games. Is it an open world? I'm not asking that question. There's so few open world games, and I can't think of any open world games that it could be. Is it moves only?
It is not moves only.
Okay. I don't know if that was the right way to phrase that, but that's the way I phrased it.
That was 5.
Okay. Zing the Land Beyond did not. The White Lotus didn't make any other games. Can you use the DualShock? Wait. I gotta figure out how to. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mark's question. Can it be played with the aim?
It cannot be played with the aim controller.
Okay. So no aim and not moves only, which means it might not even have move support. It could be DualShock 4. So let's think about DualShock 4 games. DualShock 4 compatible games that are puzzle based. Developer has made other PSVR games. Was this made by Servios?
This was not made by Servios.
Was this made by Arvory?
This was not made by Arvory.
All right, I had to get those out of my head because those are the two I was thinking of.
Brax, let me twirl my mustache.
He's up to something.
Nefarious. Being on nefarious over here.
Right? Static, huh? Yeah, I don't think those guys have made... Tarsier hasn't made any other PSVR games.
You're on 9.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Operencia, huh? That's not bad. Not a bad one. Is there full locomotion in this?
No.
That seems like a
yes.
Okay, let me follow that question up with: is the movement grid based?
The movement is in fact grid based.
Okay. Was this made by Zen Studios?
This was made by Zen Studios.
Is this Operencia?
It is Operencia Mad Max
Right?
Witness.
Holy
Oh my
crap,
God.
man.
Coming out of nowhere
Right.
and stealing the show, Mad Max. Good job, man.
dude. You just cut that game in half, man. It would have taken I got there, it would have taken me to the very end of.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Mad Max. You saved the game. Also, Operencia, a great game if you're really, really patient and don't mind terrible scaling and blurry graphics.
I love Operencia.
Yeah, it's good, man. I just rather play it on a flat screen. I just don't think the VR implementation was all that good.
Somebody had Emily Baxter. Had a question like, does it require a VR headset? And I was like, please don't ask that.
that is such a good question. We need to start using that more in our 20 questions.
Sorry, it wasn't Merbles, Twitcher. Maybe one day.
One of these days. Have we done Merbles before? I feel like we had to have.
No.
Right? No, it should be Merbles every week just to fuck with them. Right. All right, guys, I want to thank so many people for helping us out here. Obviously, we got Jay Meow and Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry and all the moderators who help us out. Dude, like Hibsy reporting the news for us. Mike Check getting us the Windlands update. Dude, so many people help without Parole happen. But no one helps me more than AJ does. If you don't subscribe to AJ already over at PSVR Underground, make sure you do that because he's got the live streams. He's keeping the content coming, even when I get nothing for you. Although I should.
I'm honestly just like there's so much I want to do, but I'm trying to let my latest videos breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
The thing is with there being kind of slower releases right now, there's a lot of dreams I'm tapping into, and some of them are full length games that I would pay for, and I cannot wait to show you guys. I've got two in particular that I don't know when I'm going to stream them. Probably early in the day. If I have tomorrow off, I'll definitely be streaming one. But there is some really, really fun shit that I cannot wait to show you guys. And shout out to everybody that went out and supported some of these dreams and played Pressure. Been getting a bunch of comments about people checking out Pressure and just being absolutely blown away by it, and that makes me so excited to hear when you guys actually go and check it out. But not only that, but enjoy it too, because that's like all I want to do is just show you guys the best, coolest shit. And yeah, so can't wait to show you what's coming next. It's gonna surprise the absolute hell out of you.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play it, actually. I know what it is, but I won't tell anybody. Guys, thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Thank you to everybody who hung out in the chat today, and thank you to all of you who sat back and watched the show and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there. The numbers don't fucking lie. Don't fucking lie to us. We know. We're on to you. We're on to you. Let's cue the cat. Bye.
Cue the cat, Brian, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Shapeshifter. Good to see you, man. I love it when I don't see somebody for like 6 months, and then I pop back up again. Hell yeah, Shapeshifter.
AJ loves it when he doesn't see Shapeshifter for 6 months. That's what I took away from that.
The Metaverse GameCat VR. Hell yeah, man. Great job on that guest. You killed it, brother. Mark Dowse, thank you so much, man. I will definitely have more lists and stuff coming soon. I can't wait to show you guys. Might do one here on Parole. We never know. WW, thank you. I love your voice too. Almost said that. Nice try though. Time to play with GameCats. Confession: you've not played VR in 2 weeks. That's okay. You can live through us. Bob Zarkov, the Underground GameCat. Night to you, elitist name squad. I'm Flesh Eater Gaming in the house tonight. What's up, dude? Good to see you, homie. That's my new friend, Brian. That's my new friend. You better be careful. Me and Tom are like this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one. I'll get into it later. Ash VR, the groovy GameCat. Justin Cassidy, Welsh Boy, UK76. Good to see you, Emily Baxter. Hashtag Cartoony Witch Game Kitten. Mark Pringles Leaf. Scott Jessica PSN Harry Fellow PSVR GameCat for life. Cue the cat. He says the cat has been cued. Let's see here. I've kind of lost where I am here. Craven Moorhead says AJ loves marbles. He just doesn't know it yet. I disagree. I disagree hard with that, Craven Moorhead. Ben L of the GameCat Army. X-Pacer X. Triangulator, my dude. Death. Speaking of my dudes, Deathly, the Subterranean Death Cat. Let's go. Herb, the 247 GameCat in the house tonight. What up, homie? Guy Son, fist bump to you. Guys, all of you have a wonderful rest of the night. We will see you again very soon. Kevin says Defunct Bomb Bro. I agree, Kevin. I agree. And Ian Stambridge.
That GameCat in the chat says, I was also here. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, don't forget to join our Discord. Links in the description below. That's where these conversations happen 24/7. That's where we hang out. That's where I hang out. I don't know about AJ. Who the fuck knows where he hangs out. But that's where I hang out. So come hang out with me. I get lonely sometimes. Come snuggle.